So who does this affect? There, I estimate that there are at least 3,000 hospital labs, or more than 50% of all the hospital laboratories in the country will be affected by the new LDT regulation. And almost every single independent lab out there, including clinical and anatomic pathology labs that are currently performing LDTs, will be affected. And these are kind of maybe even low estimates. At a minimum, 3,000 hospital labs, and at a minimum, there almost every single independent clinical and anatomic pathology lab out there will have to follow these new LDT regulations. And then just some comments on what I think the fallout will be. So obviously, the IVD manufacturers who are in favor of this of LDT regulation they've already begun planning FDA submissions for high volume LDTs. So the Thermo Fishers, the Siemens, the Roches, et cetera, over the past few months have been trying to figure out what are the high volume LDTs and the LDTs that are most likely to be dropped from, or that may be dropped from laboratory test menus, so that they can begin developing IVD tests for those LDTs. Another fallout would be that the big four reference testing laboratories, ARUP, LabCorp, Mayo, Clinic Labs, and Quest Diagnostics, they have experience bringing tests through the full FDA clearance process. And over time, the big reference labs, the send-out labs, are going to be submitting more applications to the FDA to clear LDTs. And historically, I know the big four reference labs have competed primarily on pricing, but over time, I think that test menu breadth could become a major differentiator outside of price for send-out test contracts. Another point is that although I believe most laboratories are going to want to get their grandfathered or existing LDTs, keep those on the market, it's very unlikely that academic medical centers, hospitals, and most independent labs, I just don't see them bringing new LDTs, that's LDTs after May 6th of this year, through the full regulatory process. Even though it'll be phased in, it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. And then one last point. So again, another one more fallout of the regulation is, if you're a hospital lab or an independent lab, you're going to have to devote some FTEs to this FDA process, to getting in compliance with the new FDA regulations. That's going to cost. You may need to hire outside consultants and attorneys to help you get your grandfathered, quote unquote, grandfathered LDT test in compliance. You may that's going to be costly. You may switch from your homemade LDTs to FDA kits. That's an additional, that'll be more costly. And lastly, over time, I don't think there's any way around it. More testing is likely to be sent to the big reference laboratories, the four that I mentioned, as well as any regional labs like Tricor or Cleveland Clinic Labs, Northwell Health Labs, and several others.